Good morning, wonderful listeners. Sandy here with another Power Pop. Last week, I was talking with one of my clients who was saying that she really wanted to start a business. She's very good at what she does and has been sharing her skills and talents with her employer for quite a while. And she wants to do her own thing. She then went on to tell me all the reasons why it wouldn't work. She said there's too much competition. She doesn't know that much about bookkeeping. She can't afford to get a building, and on and on. And I realized she was being her own worst enemy. Have you ever decided to do something like start a business or climb a mountain or write a book or create a podcast? And then before you get started, that little voice in your head starts in things like you're not smart enough to run your own business, or you're too clumsy to ever climb a mountain, or if you do a book or a podcast, you're going to look like a fool and people will laugh at you. These thoughts are called limiting beliefs, which are really deeply held convictions that constrain you in some way. They're the silent saboteurs of personal growth. They're the quiet voices that whisper, you can't, you're not enough. This isn't for people like you. Their effects are really powerful and actually shape your decisions so that you avoid risks and ultimately don't lead the life you want. So what are limiting beliefs? They're the thoughts or perceptions that you think are true and that hinder your potential. Unlike rational, evidence-based beliefs, limiting beliefs are usually based on assumptions, fears, or past experiences. Some examples of that are, I'll never find a partner because I'm too insecure, too ugly. People like me never succeed. I'm the wrong gender. I'm the wrong size. I'm the wrong color. These beliefs form unconscious barriers that prevent you from taking action or seeing opportunities. They influence how you interpret the world, how you see yourself, and what you believe is possible and not possible. Limiting beliefs come from a whole lot of places. Very often, they're from childhood experiences. You may have had a critical teacher or a parent that wasn't very supportive and always expected more than you could ever perform and made you feel bad about yourself, or even one single embarrassing moment that planted a seed of self-doubt. You might have been told you're not creative or you're not very smart. Limiting beliefs also come from cultural or societal conditioning. Messages about gender roles, class, ethnicity, body image, the length of your hair, all those things can be internalized, leading you to believe that certain paths are not for you. And then, of course, past failures or traumas. Negative experiences, especially repeated ones, can lead to generalized conclusions about your capabilities or worth. If you did gather the courage to step out and do something and it didn't work the first time, you may end up just telling yourself, I'm not good enough, when really all you needed was a little more practice. I heard a woman talking about when she was learning to fly a plane, and when it came time for her to do her solo flight, they told her she would do 3 touch-and-go landings. Well, she was terrified. The first landing was very scary. She bounced down the runway and couldn't ever really land. So she went up and around and did the second one where she couldn't even get down low enough to reach the ground. By then, she was going around the third time terrified because she was up in the air by herself and had decided there was no way she was going to ever land safely. And she came in just right and sat down perfectly and landed right on the spot and realized that she did have what it took. It just took some practice. She didn't let her past failure define what she was going to do. And then, of course, there's always the fear of judgment or failure. Some people define failure as they, as a human being, are a failure. It's not about who you are. It's just about that particular situation. Some people feel if things don't come together just perfectly the first time, they are no good at anything. If you come from a place in your past, people judged you and made you feel like you were just a failure at everything and would never succeed, you are probably playing these messages in your head and letting them define your choices. I have talked before about my childhood. My life was great until I was 2, and then my little sister was born 2 days before my second birthday, and all of a sudden, I felt like I was invisible because the new baby took everybody's attention. As we grew, that became more pronounced for me, and I started creating limiting beliefs for myself. I was bullied in school and became very fearful of other people and assumed everybody would laugh at and make fun of me. As a result, I was afraid to step out and do anything. Eventually, I became an adult and started really looking at those fears. That was how the little girl I used to be interpreted things, but it might not have been total reality. I encouraged myself to step out and start doing things that could be fearful, but could also make me feel successful and get me to where I wanted to be, which is talking to all of you, supporting and empowering you as you grow. So you can always overcome your limiting beliefs. Start with honest reflection, evidence-based thinking, and a consistent effort. Pay attention to your internal dialogue. Are there patterns in your self-talk that involve words like always or never or can't? These are red flags. And whenever you catch yourself doing that, reframe that sentence into can and will, and look at where it came from and redefine them for yourself. Challenge the belief. Is it really true? What evidence supports this? And what contradicts it? Often you'll find that a belief is based more on perception than fact. Instead of I'm bad at public speaking, say I'm still learning to be more confident when I speak. And ask, what is the worst that can happen? So if you want to start a podcast, if people don't like it, will we survive? Yes, of course we will survive. It will not kill us. So take the risk and look at what is the best that can happen. For us with the podcast, it was that we get to reach and support and empower all of you, which is such a wonderful honor. And we would not be doing that if we had not faced my fears and stepped out and be able to be with you all. So then replace your limiting beliefs with empowering beliefs. Create affirmations and visualizations. Start with statements that feel possible, like I'm capable of learning this skill, rather than I'm the best in the world. And then take small steps, because action builds confidence. It's like the woman who was trying to land the plane. In order to get her license, she had to land 3 times because the first time and maybe the second time are going to be difficult. They allowed her to work with it. And remember that every step you take that contradicts the old belief weakens its hold and strengthens a new one. Since limiting beliefs can be deeply entrenched and tied to painful experiences, working with a coach or a therapist or just talking to a good friend can provide valuable guidance and help you unpack and reframe these beliefs. So the bottom line is everyone who has lived a few years has limiting beliefs. They come from all over everywhere and are not flaws. They're human, but they're usually not true. With awareness and courage and effort, you can challenge, restructure, and ultimately transform them into positive affirmations. Rewriting your inner narratives allows you to step more fully into your potential and live a life inspired by possibility instead of one limited by fear. I thank you for being on this journey with us and encourage you to find your power and claim your life.